What is up guys, Mystic here, and today's video is going to be really interesting because we're going to compare M855 ammo performance in real life versus what it does in Escape from Tarkov.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
And while Escape from Tarkov is one of the few games that actually includes different ammo types and doesn't just state this is 5.56 or 9mm, it actually models individual ammo variants like M855, M855A1, M995. Like you guys know, these are all real cartridges with real ballistic characteristics, and while it does make the game extremely unique and realistic by getting a lot of these ammo types right, some seem to be massively underrated, just like M855, because once you compare it to the real life performance to what happens in Tarkov, things stop lining up really quickly. Now, if you watched Forgotten Weapons' latest video, you're gonna know exactly where this is going, because Ian shoots a captured ASVAL, and he shoots two ammo types, SP6 and what he calls SP5. However, a lot of Russian nationals are arguing in his comment section, clarifying that it is actually SPP, and then an SP5 would never have a blue tip. So for the sake of this video, we're gonna be calling it SPP, even though that is still up for debate. And both of these 9x39 ammo types, one less than the other, are very viable ammo types in Tarkov, especially against Russian level 4 hard armor, which would be the GOST standard that they use, unlike M855, which in Tarkov is only used early wipe and pretty much can hardly pen level 3 Russian armor. However, in Ian's video, pretty much the opposite thing happens, and we see that M855 easily pens level 3 plus hard plates, while the SPP cannot even pen level 3 soft armor. Because of that, the whole reason for this video is there, and it is because I saw the Forgotten Weapons video, like many of you probably did, and saw that completely contradicts what Tarkov shows us with the M855, which instantly sent me down a rabbit hole, and I want to present you guys with the information that I found in case you found it just as interesting as I did, because it is nowhere near what I actually expected. It is also very much worth noting that in the US, the NIJ rating system is very different from the GOST rating in Russia, and in Forgotten Weapons video we see an M855 get shot at a level 3 plus hard plate, which would be similar but not the same to a Russian level 4 plate, which would be pretty much the most ubiquitous plate in Tarkov and kind of the baseline that you want to be able to penetrate if a round is to be useful. So in the US, a level 3 plus plate is generally built to withstand M855 rounds, but we see it got penetrated with no problem in Ian's video, and this might lead us to another clarification point, and it is the difference between a civilian M855 load and what might be an SS-109 round in the military, which uses the same penetrator, the green tip, but might be packed a hell of a lot hotter.
3, 2, 1.
So similarly, a Russian level 4 plate would be intended to stop up to a 7.62x39 PS ball round with no penetrator. So we can assume pretty safely that if a M855 round goes right through a level 3 plus, it would also go right through the Russian level 4 plate, due to the fact that the M855 is generally considered to be way better at penetrating hard armor than a 7.62x39, due to the fact we have a hardened steel penetrator and it impacts at a way higher velocity. And this is also a very crucial point and very telling, as in Tarkov, M855 actually holds a lower penetration value than 7.62x39, even though PS ammo does not have a penetrator and it flies slower. Getting to our last counter argument against the M855 results that Ian showed in the Forgotten Weapons video, it could also be because it is a civilian manufactured M855. Officially, they are meant to be the exact same velocity, exact same load, everything the same, but the only difference is that the SS-109 has to be loaded to a minimum government mandated velocity, and as such could be loaded way hotter than the civilian one, which can be loaded to that same specification but doesn't have to be, and thus often is not. So you guys take your own conclusions out of that, because a lot of people that I've seen shooting the M855 cannot have it go through level 3 plus, but again, take it with a grain of salt, and I do trust the Forgotten Weapons results, and I trust that they actually used M855, which is at an army standard and at a correct barrel length. What this tells us is that the in-game balancing seems to have made M855 so bad that it's really not viable, and instead made some 9x39 variants like SPP and SP6 overly capable, and perhaps the most important fact is that Tarkov reduces the penetration to one single unitary value, and it doesn't distinguish between armor and barrier penetration capabilities, whereas in real life, for example, the M855 is way better at penetrating hard targets, but a 7.62x39 PS round is gonna be better at penetrating wood and concrete barriers. So Tarkov condenses all of this info into one single value, which is just penetration, and this inevitably creates a very weird ranking between the rounds that should each really have their own strengths and weaknesses, and it's instead condensed into one single pretty much arbitrary value. So this argument is really clear against the 7.62x39 PS ammo because it does not even have a hardened steel core. But what about the 9x39 SP6 or the SPP? Well, once you look at their velocities, it becomes a little bit more clear what a weird discrepancy we have, because 9x39 is actually traveling at around 1/3 of the speed of the M855, albeit also having a penetrator and more mass. But the question is, would you actually be able to compensate a third of that velocity with a little bit more mass and maybe even a little bit of a harder core? That is really up for debate, and it would not be as clear as night and day as Tarkov shows us. And this also backs up Ian's findings in Forgotten Weapons, where even though 9x39 SPP and SP6 are spicier 9x39 rounds, they still lack the penetrating capability of the much faster M855, which shows in the lack of penetration of the soft level 3 armor by the 9x39, but easily defeated by an M855. On the other hand, and to argue a little bit more against the SP6 side of the question, it almost has a mythical status in Tarkov, which is why to many Forgotten Weapons video might have been such a surprise, because if you've played Tarkov, the SP6 is one of those rounds that every single person respects because it can drop you so fast, as it is really viable against level 5 plates. However, all of these points highlight just how weird the Tarkov ammo progression seems to be, and I'm going to show you the ammo pen values right here that are in-game versus the results that Ian showed us in his video. And what is a categorically better round actually ends up being used first and discarded to only unlock later the worse quote-unquote ammo types of 9x39 at the end, and having them be way better than they are actually supposed to be. So leaving M855, which is specifically meant to penetrate intermediate targets, to be forgotten, pun intended. Now, to be fair, this does not really mean that M855 is universally better than SP6, because armor performance depends strongly on the specific plate, the impact velocity, the construction, and many other variables, which Tarkov does not take into account, maybe only material, but when you're condensing everything into one unitary value, it is really hard to get things right. But what it does show us is that the relationship between these rounds is not nearly as clear-cut as Tarkov might suggest. Now, this video took a long time to make. It is really just a rabbit hole that I wanted to get into. If you guys liked it and enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, leave a follow, leave a comment about what you guys think, because I'm not drawing any conclusions further than what I have stated, which are pretty much just the facts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, because there could be many other situations where these tests could have gone a different way. Maybe you guys think that that test is not valid. Whatever you guys think, do let me know in the comments down below, because I do read most of them in the first few days that I post a video. And again, thank you so much for watching, for making it through to the end, and I do appreciate every single one of you. Have a good day.